Alright, so it's like literally almost lunchtime, middle of the day, and as you may well know, middle of the day towards 2 o'clock, that's the sort of time of the day that your wind is generally speaking at its strongest. So I'm now going to use an 8-ounce lead instead of a 6-ounce just to hold bottom while I'm straightening out the line. And the cameraman and I had a bit of a discussion about flavors and that sort of thing. You'll notice that I haven't been dipping my baits in flavor at all. My theory is that you'll probably stand much less of a chance of catching a big fish if you've dipped your hook bait in a high attractive or a very attractive flavor. So we've got a bit of a bet on, really. I'm dipping this hook bait in flavor just to show him that if I do get another take on this rod, it's quite likely not going to be a big one. So there we go. I've dipped it a couple of times and let it dry off as well. So the flavor is really pulled in there. And let's see. Perhaps I'll prove myself right. Let's see. Well, my mate fishing about 50 meters from me is out on the water right now, dropping a rod. His rod screamed off, so I'm just hyping him up for a second. Oh, he's on his way back. So, not too sure what's going on here exactly. He's fishing with monofilament, so there's not much sensation. Definitely a fish on, but it's not doing much. It's still a long way out though. He also fishes DAIWA gear, quite coincidentally. No, it feels nice and heavy. Not, I don't think so.
Dit is die derde vis wat nou wat ek in die dam is. Maar probeer as jy daar binne sien mag geraas en hy trek jy hulle. Verloor hulle.
Moet jy daar buite is?
Ja. Ek voel dit.
Well, Bean's putting a backlaid on the rod that he's just brought in, just to see if we can avoid picking up that line. So I'm trying my best not to pick up that line. And he insisted I play it while he's sorting out his lines.
Now it's starting to go again. Every time I'm in a jam, my rod goes off. Jumping and biting the fish. Ja, it's cutting left, huh? Cutting left, ja. You want to come to this halfway to the top? Dan gaan jy in het centrum van de wacht. Dat is maybe net.
Well, it certainly feels like a good one. Just need to watch his lines really for a second. Well, it was disappointing. Thought it may be a decent fish, but turns out it was a nuisance species. Well, it's sort of middle of the day, so it's kind of sort of like you expect it would be a nuisance species middle of the day, I think. So we'll just have to keep on keeping on. See how it turns out. Alright, so what I'd like to chat to you about now is the different presentations that I'm trying for the start of the session. So what I've done is I went with 2 different presentations. I've got 4 rods, one on one feeding spot, and or one setup on a feeding spot with 2 rods, and another setup with 2 rods on a different feeding spot. So what I've done with the presentations is on either end I've got a bottom bait and a pop-up. Now, firstly, the pop-up is a rig that consists of an end-trap hook link, which is also the same color as the bottom. It's a gravel color. A size 2 quarter curve shank hook. That's then just fished with a little blowback ring on the shank of the hook. I actually like fishing a blowback ring on a curved shank hook when I'm fishing a pop-up in particular. You'll see that it actually creates a very, very nice little angle because of the cork that's used with the tiger nut. Cork is ultra buoyant. It literally just picks up the hook bait like this, and it leaves the hook in a very prone position to drop onto the bottom lip of the fish. So this is definitely one presentation that's really good. It's one that I'm going to try for the session to see if we can convert any takes. Then the next presentation I'd like to handle with you is then a bottom bait presentation. Literally, this is virtually a stiff boom type rig. So on either one of the setups, I've got a bottom bait presentation as well. That's just to gauge the effectiveness or the respective effectiveness of the bottom and the pop-up hook baits. It consists of a 20-pound mouth trap section. So that's an ultra high memory monofilament line. And then you've got a little very supple braid section and a bit of putty around the knot there just to help drive that hook home. Then the hook itself is a size 2 quarter crank. Huge big gape on the hook. I think it's ideal for the fish in this dam. It's really strong. They've got big mouths as well, so you don't want to miss an opportunity there. Then basically just a bottom bait tiger nut hook bait, same as the freebies. I think this is a very effective presentation as well. So we'll gauge which one of the 2 presentations are the one, or is the one that will be scoring the points. So let's get them in the water and see what happens.
I think the wall should be around.
It seems like at the moment the fish are feeding more at night time. The guys that have had results were here before. They caught fish at night. So basically what we're hoping for is for the wind to die down a little bit in a couple of hours, and then I'll carefully replace the rigs back on the spots, top them up with a bit more bait, just to keep the nuisance fish busy as well while we're waiting for the carp to arrive. And who knows, by tomorrow morning we may be showing you a real decent Klaserie fish.
It's fine, you should have left it there, but it's okay. Yeah.
I see, you caught in the corner there, mate.
It went through.
Yeah. Nice fish, huh?
Now you know it's missing.
Here we go. Yeah, that's fine. Let's have that. That's cool.
I just don't get the big comments here.
There's so much water in there.
The problem is it couldn't get with the boat. There's another end and the water is not very calm to go out and fish it.
I would have to keep him steady ready. But I'm not going to look too much. But I can't hear you want to look. Yeah. I know you want. No. You want him. So where we go? There we go. What do you want to know? Just over 14, huh? We'll check it now. it's got some damage to the mouth from the hook there. What you're going to do is a piece of skin there. So we're going to cut that off just nicely. And there's a piece there. We're going to put some Carp clinic here, so you'll heal up nicely here. We'll just rub it in. Put a little bit more there. Okay. And now it should be fine. That mouth should heal in a couple of weeks. These nice big carp, we look after them. And that's our future generation here. And this will probably be, in the next 5 years, this will be a good 40-pound fish.
It's got to lay those eggs for now.
Yeah. There we go. Fishing started off well. Then it went quiet. But now caught a lovely 30-pound, 7-ounce common this morning. And about 20 minutes ago, our neighbors next door caught a 31 6-ounce common. The weather was brilliant from yesterday, and the fishing went slow. The cold front hit us this morning, and since the cold front hit us, the fish were on the bite. So in quick succession, we've got 2 30-pound fish plus on the bank here. The fish the guys caught next door here, the hook ripped them out quite badly. We had to doctor the mouth there using an anti-carp clinic. We had to cut a piece away from outside the mouth, and yeah, basic thing is carp care. So we got nice fishing for the future generations here. And those fish in 5 years' time will be 40-pound plus fish in this dam.
Alright, so as I mentioned earlier, cooking the hemp on the stove there, it's just about done. You see the little white sprouts sticking out of them. It's the first sign that they're done. Lovely, lovely smell hanging around this pot. Very fragrant bait. Good evening. It's our second night of my Klaserie session. So we had a pretty good result today. Only one fish though, but it was one stunning fish. It was a 30-pound, 7-ounce common. Put up an amazing fight. I was actually a little bit overexcited when I saw it in the water because of its broad shoulders. It actually looked like a really big fish, but 30 pounds, 7 ounces, I'm over the moon. So next thing for me to do is to redo my second or my two left-hand rods. They've been lying since yesterday afternoon. No action there. So I'm going to go out there and freshen up the spot with some fresh hemp, some tiger nuts, new rigs. I'm actually going to go out to the rig. I'm going to boat myself out to the rig, pick it up, clip on the fresh rig, this fresh rig here, and I'm taking some spare weights in the tub as well in case the weight comes off in there and I don't have to come all the way back. So I'm going to go drop this rig. It's almost dark, so let's hope for a result there in the night. If not, then tomorrow morning first thing. We'll see you then. So weather-wise, last night was nice and balmy. It was warm. The crickets were out. It was a bit tropical. Today we had a complete switch in the weather. The wind started pumping from the south. Generally speaking, in my experience, the southern wind is not a very productive wind to be fishing in. Certainly if it's brand new, I would say. But let's see what happens. I spoke to a local angler that fishes here quite a bit, Ruan from Tonda. He reckons the constant wind from the south for about 2 or 3 days on this dam is what will bring the results. So I'm still very positive. I'm just going to keep freshening up those spots. I haven't seen any other clues anywhere around the dam that would make me move. I had a bit of a look around. There's very little fish activity as far as seeing the fish is concerned. So for the moment, I'm just going to stay put. My spot is nicely sheltered from the south wind, so I think that counts in my favor, and it's the only place I've seen a fish show today at all. So let's see what this cloudy and cold weather brings on Klaserie. Just had an aborted take, so the indicator just dropped down and there was nothing there. So I'm thinking nuisance fish interference. Must have picked up the rig and ejected the lead. So that was a bit of excitement for nothing really. I'll just check the rig. Maybe put on a fresh one and go drop it back out there. Sun's still a long way out. Well, I've now gone about 26 hours without any action, and I must say this morning has been the only morning thus far where there's been some fish activity really. Besides the one fish I saw a day or two ago, this morning we had about 3 or 4 just showing in the area. So I was thinking of moving. I actually had a look around the dam to see if there was any fish activity on other spots. But it's definitely clear that there are still fish in this area. So for the moment I'll stick it out here and I'll keep the bait going in just to keep them in the area and keep them visiting the area every now and then. Sooner or later, one of them will make a mistake if the rigs are presented correctly, and we should have another nice fish to show you. So let's see how it goes. The reason I'm winding like mad is I'm fishing monofilament line on this rod. Just had a drop back. I just want to try and catch up with whatever it is that's swimming our way. If there is something on, not too sure. There's nothing there. Seems like small fish are picking up the rigs and ejecting the leads. It's a little bit frustrating really. It's a lot of hard work to get the rigs out there in the first place. Everything's still fine. Hook is still sharp. Perfectly sharp. Rig's fine. Lead's ejected. So clearly there was a pool, but no fish. Quite strange. Quite strange. We're going to have to think about this for a bit. So just to quickly talk you through the weather conditions at the moment, we've got air pressure that's rising, even though there are clouds in the sky. So normally when it's cloudy, you've got air pressure that's coming down, which is normally a good thing for the fishing. In this case, the air pressure is rising. I don't think that's a very good thing, but the other positive is that this cold weather and the cloudiness has actually driven away all the other anglers on the bank. So it's literally only us couple of anglers left, a lot less line pressure, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. There's no one to my right for the next couple of kilometers right up into the bush camp of Klaserie, where the guys have arrived now. So that means that if the fish do come down this margin here, my line's are the first baits that they'll encounter, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I've seen a couple of fish show, one particularly big fish, and what's interesting to note is that they're actually starting to show over deeper water. Okay, so it seems like they're showing in an area where the water is anything between 20 and 30 foot deep. So that's the next thing I'm going to get to now. It's late afternoon. I've only got about 2 or 3 nights left, so I need to make something happen. For the last 27 to 30 hours, I haven't had a bite. Basically what I'll be doing now is I'm just going to use the H marker to position myself very accurately over deep water, get the rigs perfectly down next to the H marker and bait up right on top of it in that deep water, in the hope that if the fish are in that deep area, hopefully I can draw them down to the bottom there and get one of them to pick up the rigs. To put it in perspective for you, this is Carp, so it's in the low veld. It's generally a very warm area. We've got temperatures of 14 and 15 degrees Celsius today, and last night we had south winds with gusts up to 51 kilometers an hour. I've fished in some really bad conditions before, but this is definitely in the top 3. But to say that I'm discouraged would be wrong. I think this is even strengthening my resolve. I've redone one of my rods this morning. The other 3 are still perfectly in position. I've baited up one of the spots again. I'll just keep working the area. If you look over my shoulder here, you'll see that the eastern bank is sheltered from this cold wind. And if you go out there on the boat, you'll actually feel that area is nice and temperate, where this side is extremely cold and the wind is very, very strong. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm hoping that this cold water on this end of the dam actually starts pushing the fish into the margin across. We have seen 1 or 2 fish in the area yesterday. I haven't seen anything today. I'll just keep fishing that area, keep busy, keep checking that the rigs are still sharp, and keep applying bait into that area. Sooner or later, the fish will pitch up in that area. They'll have a bit of a feed, and if they do that, the rigs will be ready and waiting for them. So I'm sure we'll have a result.